Thank you, Dr. Rule. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is my honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Sylvia Gray. For more than 20 years, she has taught history to students at the Sylvania Campus. Like many of you, her education also started at PCC, where she blossomed here and went on to earn a master's degree in history from Portland State University. While she taught history as a part-timer at a number of different colleges, she has been teaching at PCC now for 20 years. She would tell you that she is thrilled to be here, and we are thrilled to have her here. In addition to her teaching responsibilities, she is also the incoming chair of the college's Educational Advisory Council, a body that provides me with academic and policy recommendations for our college. She's active both with students and her colleagues and a real team player. Sylvia has contributed to academia in many ways, including authoring a book, helping create an disciplinary focus award for students interested in Asian studies, and creating many opportunities for students and staff to benefit from a lecture series about global issues, especially focused on Chinese philosophy and art. PCC is very fortunate to have her as a faculty member. Please warmly welcome Ms. Sylvia Gray.
President Pulliams, esteemed board members, administrators, faculty, graduating students, families, and friends. Opportunity, then, now, always. These 4 words, PCC's 50th year theme, say it all. But of course, being a teacher, I can always say more. Opportunity then. We all have our stories, and I have mine. I was the oldest of 8 children, the oldest. 7 girls and 1 boy. And I grew up in Eagle Creek, Oregon, near Estacada. My family was very poor by American standards, economic standards. But the most striking characteristic of my family was that we were extremely religious. Lest you think my story is one of salvation from my background, I'd like to tell you about some of the many positives, opportunities that came with my upbringing. My family read the Bible out loud and discussed it every evening. And within those bounds, I learned many of my critical thinking and communication skills. We sang songs in parts, often a cappella, something we all enjoyed. And because classical music was valued, I learned to play the piano. We were taught a strong work ethic and self-discipline. We were also taught to love others. Even if you didn't feel like it, you worked at it. There were also some intrinsic difficulties or negatives, one might say. We were not allowed to have a TV or listen to popular radio, among other things, which caused us to miss out on mainstream general culture. We dressed oddly. We were pulled out of participation in many common school activities. We were taught we were in the world, but not of the world, which gave us an odd combination of arrogance, we knew something others didn't, along with a feeling of inadequacy or of being outsiders in our own American culture. We were taught to obey the laws and hence do well in required schooling, but we were also taught that there is no reason for higher education. They don't really have to be mutually exclusive. But we were taught the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, as the good book says. Also, it might lead us astray from our faith. Fast forwarding to age 31, I was married, had 2 children, and I was wrestling with some of the presuppositions I was raised with. In addition, there had been times I'd been embarrassed by my ignorance of history. I decided that I needed to learn some history, and I also thought maybe you could help me make sense of things. I believed I could manage to take 1 college course without upsetting my family too much, so I enrolled at PCC for 1 History of Western Civilization course at the Southeast Campus. I remember walking onto the campus feeling as if I didn't belong there, feeling as if everyone belonged there but me. My confidence was really low. But when I met the instructor, Debbie Olson, she put me at ease. And I loved the class. I felt as if the blinds had been opened. I felt as if I were at a feast every day. History really does explain a lot, you know. And I also found it much easier than raising kids because there's a syllabus and guidelines, and if you followed them, you could get an A. Which is not to say that there were not obstacles, there were. I had to deal with a fair amount of opposition at home and did a lot of sneaky studying when no one was watching. Money was an issue, and in my second term, our car broke down. We did not have the money to put it in a shop, but when I told Debbie that I would have to leave class 45 minutes early to catch the bus to pick up my son from kindergarten, she went the second mile, and she gave me a ride home after class for a month until we could get that car fixed. And this is where I tear up. No. The next year, I applied for financial aid to attend school full-time, and to my surprise, I received a Pell Grant that covered more than tuition and books. I thought that seemed too good to be true, so I called up the financial aid office and asked about it. The nice lady on the phone said to me, "Buy yourself a hamburger." This support, this opportunity strengthened my case at home for me attending full-time, and I won that argument. Although at the time I could hardly imagine that I could actually obtain a degree in my situation, there was no stopping me after that. When I graduated in 1986 with an Associate of Arts and Associate of Science degree and an International Studies certificate from PCC, in this very building, in a blue robe, it was one of the proudest days of my life. I'm not kidding. I had proved to myself that I could do it. Opportunity now. I finished with a master's degree in history from PSU a few years later, and my first part-time assignment at PCC, teaching history, was a result of Debbie Olson's recommendation. We are still friends. I've been teaching at PCC ever since. I just received my 20-year pin, and of those 20 years, 5 have been as a full-time permanent instructor. It took me a long time, but that had become my heartfelt goal, and I achieved it. I love to share my enthusiasm with students for the importance and interest of studying history. I love introducing new concepts, encouraging students to learn, and helping them to think at deeper levels. I love to see students developing themselves and growing into the people that they want to be. My teaching philosophy can be contained in a nutshell. A former student actually gave me the words for it. She was from Germany, and she was worried about sitting in her usual seat in the front row and having people think negative thoughts about her when we got to the topics of World War I and World War II because of the role Germany had played in those devastating events. I assured her that no disrespect would be tolerated. But in the process of covering those topics as the term went by, she ended up sharing some of her family's experiences with the other students. And we all learned from that. She integrated her own background and challenges with what she was learning at PCC. At the end of the academic year, she gave me a card, which I still have, with the words, "Thank you for helping me one step along the way. This is my teaching philosophy, helping students one step along the way." Opportunity always. I am well aware that I am only one of thousands of PCC examples. As I said before, we all have our stories, and this is what PCC does. It helps students one big step along their own path. It provides them that opportunity and support that will help integrate their own backgrounds and challenges with what they learn here to make their own successes. You are receiving your degree today. Congratulations. Be proud of it. It's a crucial sign to the world, demonstrating what you have learned and accomplished to date, and a designation that you are ready to move forward on to that next step in your life. But even more, you have personally grown. No one can take your PCC education away from you. It will always be a part of you. Integrate what you have learned at PCC into your life. Integrate what you have learned at PCC as you press forward to achieve your own unique dreams and goals. Integrate the habits you cultivated while at PCC to enhance your life, always exposing yourself to new ideas, questioning things, learning, and growing. PCC has made my life, your life, our community, our state, and the world a better place. If I can call on my own background for a minute, the good book says, "Be not weary in well-doing." Use your education for good, help others to reach their goals, support PCC for its amazing good work. Thank you, PCC. Congratulations, graduates.